welcome to yet another episode of Dear Man. We're so excited to come your way today, and let's get started. As usual, go out there, share the feed, inform everyone that we live. So let's give ourselves a few seconds to get that going, and then we will jump right in. So let's do this. That's your only little way of supporting us. Okay. We live. Looks like Prissy is done. I'm yet to finish. But yeah. Okay. So as we promised last week, we're gonna bring Sammy back. And we've done rightly so. Let me not forget to mention that Prissy is here with us as usual. And Prissy, say hello to us.
Hi.
Okay. And yeah, it would be exciting. Now, as I mentioned, last week's episode was really exciting, and I'm so happy to have Sammy back. Sammy, how's it going?
Fine, fine.
Awesome. So let's take this from this direction. We discussing why dating seems to be hard nowadays, and so first question: do you think dating is hard? Do you really, from
Yeah,
your perspective, what do you think about it?
yeah. It's dating is very hard.
Okay,
Dating is very hard.
so
Yeah.
so um by your experience, what do you think makes it hard? Is it that people have heightened expectations, or people don't even know what to look out for when they say they dating someone? What do you think makes it that hard?
Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that dating is hard is we don't date. Okay, people don't date for
Hmm.
connection anymore.
Okay.
They normally date to avoid being lonely.
Oh, interesting. Okay, um so people just want to have an escape for loneliness, and that's why they date. But
Yeah.
why should it be hard? If at least they're finding someone to not make them lonely, then they should be fine, right? Why does it still make it hard?
Okay, so let me say this. Let's assume someone in a week a guy or
Mhm.
a lady goes for a date, 4 dates in a row in a week.
Okay.
Um, because of that, they are doing it um, just to avoid being lonely. They are not looking
Okay.
for their love, but they are just doing it to escape
But
loneliness or something.
yeah, I get that point. But if someone is actually trying to date, um, does it necessarily need to have a goal in mind, or it could be okay, let me see what comes out of it? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It would maybe be unfair to also expect that because someone goes out on a date, the person should necessarily have an end game in mind. Maybe someone is also just having fun. Or Prissy, what do you think about that?
I guess people have varied reasons why
Yeah.
they date. Like you said, some people don't want to be lonely. Maybe they don't have friends. So
Okay.
they are not dating to find love. They just want to make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and some people to get free meals, you know. Someone was saying that when they go on
Yeah.
dates, they get free meals. So
Okay.
they would like go on several
Keep on
dates,
going,
yeah, and
and
then they get like
Yeah.
free meals, like in the
Yeah.
for the women. So everybody has a motive for dating
okay.
or
So
going on a date.
okay, let me go back to Sammy. So what is it like? How do you know if you want to go out on a date with someone? What is the trigger? Like, because if there are a lot of, sorry to say, hungry people around looking for food to eat, how do
Yeah.
you avoid such people? Like, how do you know this is someone I would want to go on a date with?
Mhm. To my experience,
Mm-hmm.
let's assume I go out on a date with someone,
Okay.
and through like we eating, instead of that person should um, we having good conversation like through the eating, they are rather on their phone texting and all of that. They are not paying attention to me or something. Like they they
Okay.
they are rather on their phone but not paying attention to
Then
me.
I
If
think
let's
because
say,
you guys, yeah, you guys mentioned something. I think Prissy hinted at it first, and then you sort of agreed with that. Maybe our concept of dating is also problematic because if the person is focusing on the food, for example, and not you, the person they've gone out with, maybe the best to have done was to go out for the date on a park or something, right? Like you get a nice place, just be walking around,
You
nice view instead of eating. Because if maybe that would be a good way to even filter who is coming for food and who is not, right? Because if people's view of dating is all about food or filling the belly for the week or whatever, then maybe choose a different destination. What do you think? Sammy, can you hear us? Oh, it looks like Sammy dropped. Okay, yeah. So Prissy, what do you think about that? Maybe we are choosing the wrong destinations then.
uh, I think it is also cultural, you know.
Okay.
In certain at certain locations, when
Okay.
you say that we are going out to chill, it's more like you're going to sit somewhere and eat. In other culture, like having let's say you have a nice, because it's not everybody who likes views, like going to sit somewhere. For some people, chilling is going to sit somewhere and eat. For others, it's
But
going
the
to look
food could
at,
be ice cream or something.
maybe the person doesn't, yeah, ice cream, yeah, but still, ice cream can fill somebody up.
Yes,
So
exactly. And
if
then you will not have the person
and
super focused on the food.
and then the funny thing is that sometimes I know back in the university days,
Mhm.
you invite a girl out for a date and they even bring along their friends
Yeah.
to come in.
Yeah. Enjoy
Uninvited,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been a thing, like people just come out and it's like food. I'm going on a date and I need, it's like they are chaperones. They say, oh, for safety reasons, I want to
Okay.
come along with my friends.
Okay.
And these friends also come with their own expectations. And so, like he said, the dating thing is sort of broken in among the youth of today. Yeah, and maybe because of safety reasons too, you can't tell the person come alone or something because maybe you are strangers and you're not trying to get to know each other. So
Okay. So you agree with me that food is not the main purpose of dating, right?
mhm.
So why should we have food in there?
Well, maybe that is what they've been exposed to.
Who
Like if there were other places people could take their dates to, maybe, and depending on the environment, they would probably opt for it.
people can just go watch like
People go
maybe a
watch
movie
movies. but there's
buy
popcorn also
popcorn. Yes,
involved.
exactly. And that's not food that we take.
Oh yeah, but maybe the person also is not in there for food, but for entertainment. So I get
So the
you.
person will be focused on the entertainment.
And I'm going out here. So anything that will take me out of my, like he said, loneliness. So I'm going so that I have company and I can also do something else.
Okay.
And maybe I can afford it for myself, but someone is doing it for me. So
Yeah, so
that's
in discussing this, I'm trying to think through some ways to actually make this work. What of just going to sit at the beach with someone, watch the waves, and have a good discussion?
So it depends on if the person
Uh-huh.
has interest, because somebody might love going to the beach.
Yeah.
I may not love going to the beach. So usually you pick a
But what if
spot.
I also don't like going to eat and the person
You
goes
usually
like,
pick a spot that is like everybody eats.
let's take the food out. If
No,
the food is distracting people, how do you keep
no, but everybody eats. That is why it's easier to go
Oh,
and sit somewhere. Everybody
everybody
is here. So it's easier to go and sit somewhere and eat, because at least everybody is something that is of, if
Uh,
I don't eat much, I can eat little or something.
Uh,
So
okay, it looks like Sammy is back. But before we draw Sammy back into the conversation, Karen says that if the pictures and food count more than the depth of conversation, gone with the wind. I won't even take you somewhere super without earning it. And I perfectly agree with Courage. I mean, how do we say we're going on a date and someone's focus is on food? Like, eat from home or something.
the person's like he said, the person's focus is not on it's not about finding love, right? So some people are, now there are a lot of dating apps, right?
Oh,
So if you take the person out today and you find out that the person is not interested in you, tomorrow the person will find the next person. And it's just about finding people to go out on a date with. It's not even about finding love. So for that person, even if you decide not to go out with the person the following day, the person will find another person who is going to take him or not him, but usually it's the ladies, hair out somewhere else.
I think Courage has a good rule here. He says, if you can't do walk and talks, like if you can't walk and talk, then you can't wine and dine. Simple rule. And I really agree with it because if you are looking for eating opportunities, go out with someone who sells food or something. That's not the purpose, right? Sammy, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Sammy?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay, awesome. Now, so Sami, again to overcome this, right? And from what Courage has said, it looks like people have made it a go-to avenue to have food to eat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you in your mind, as someone who will be trying to date people, why do you always consider a restaurant? Why don't you consider just going to the beach to just walk in the sand and have a very deep conversation? What?
Nowadays, they don't want that. They want to go to the restaurant to eat.
I was even going to ask that in the past, how were they doing it when they weren't, there wasn't like,
Oh, it looks like Sammy is frozen again. Oh,
there
Sammy is
wasn't
back.
like this kind of going out to eat, because I'm sure back in the days they were also dating, right? How did they
Yeah.
do
Back
it?
in the day, I know how they were doing it. One person would stand on the wall across
Yeah.
across the wall, and then be speaking to the other person. I mean, life was so easy
Yeah.
and so nice.
Or maybe because they were not going too far to look for people like you would, and you turn strangers.
Like more in the community and all.
Yes.
But I really think this is what has brought up this situation we are in. And Sami, tell me if you agree or not. Because of social media and because people need to keep the world updated, they really like going to fancy places, right? So that they can keep people updated. Sami, I don't know if you got that. Did you get that, Sami? It looks like we're having a challenge with Sami's internet. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, did you get what I said?
Yes.
So I'm saying that again, because of
Yes,
social
I got it.
media and all, people need to I mean, experience fancy
Right.
places, take pictures, and then as they are even there, they are posting pictures and all. Don't you think
Yes,
that
please.
some of the reasons why people will not just
Yeah, I can hear
stand?
you.
He's delayed.
Yeah, it looks like Sami is delayed. Okay, Sami, if it's possible, you can drop and rejoin. Yep. It looks like Sami is delayed. Viewers, sorry for that. Hopefully he can get off, join, and all. Okay, so Prissy, let's get going. Do you think social media has a role to play in this, Prissy?
Yeah, so whatever we see on the media impacts the way we behave, our way of life, and all that. So,
Right.
um, I don't know, but in the past, I didn't even used to see that people would date for a long time. It's a Western thing. You be dating. I don't know why you even be going out and then the person pops like, "Will you marry me?" And it's a whole
Okay.
big deal. And I'm like, what's the point of going out anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think here in the West, people
Mm-hmm.
can be like dating for
Mm-hmm.
so long with
Yeah.
nothing like marriage as
Bad
the
idea.
end
Info.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has become a thing for we Africans because for we Africans, if once you are dating, it's like, yeah, it should end up in marriage. If by some sort of something happens and it doesn't end up in marriage, then that's it's like it's not a normal course.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not like really enthused. There are people that even date and they are not even asked the question, will you marry me? Okay, we are preparing for marriage. Is the dating is more like we are preparing for marriage, we are going to the altar to get married. And that's about it. So it's like social because of social media,
Mm-hmm.
we are exposed to things outside our norms,
Mm-hmm.
and it has also affected the way we do things. So,
Okay.
like we see that people go out, they eat, and also it's also with social media, you're able to meet people who are not even your race and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people travel out of
Mm-hmm.
their countries to other countries and all that. So we are learning a lot, but we have to filter and pick the good ones that are beneficial and all that. That unfortunately people will pick things that are not. I would say it's not good, but
So food is good.
food it's not a bad thing to take somebody out to eat, but
Yeah,
it's just about the
it's
motive.
it's not a bad thing. But if I'm taking you out to eat and you end up going to date the food instead of me, what's the point? It's like you're more interested in having that appointment with the food and not the person you are there with.
Yeah, so like the eating that like dating to go and eat
Mm-hmm.
wasn't meant for freeloaders, but some people will take advantage of definitely some people will just take advantage of why it was made. So you cannot have everybody going to just because that there are people who would also take advantage.
Then that's a straight red flag, is it not?
Yeah, and you cannot like I don't know, you will not be able to tell if your whoever you're advising on a date is there for the food until you go for that
Okay.
date. So
Okay.
at least it's helpful. Once you get there and you realize that this person is not into me and is just into the food, then there's no second date.
No,
That's
so let me put myself in the shoes of like someone who is maker. It looks like I'm no longer a youth, right? So it's today's
close to
youth,
grandpa.
right? Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah. Let's think about it this way: if I have to always try go out to somewhere to eat with someone before knowing what kind of person she is, and I have to do this over several dates.
It's an
How am I going to
investment.
survive?
It's an investment because sometimes they even come with their friends, their roommates as chaperones, and you have to pay. And they would also pick. They might not even
Yeah.
pick the simplest meal. They
Yeah.
pick the most
Yeah.
expensive ones that you may not
Yes.
even. if you
That's
have to go out by yourself, you cannot even afford it. But
afford it. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, it looks like Sammy is
That's
back. Good
it.
to have you back, Sammy. No,
Yeah.
quick one, Sammy. So today, okay, today, do you think that can you hear us?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. Do you think that you can just pick out someone you are interested in and try to develop a relationship with the person without going out on a date and going to eat and I mean add cost to your whatever.
Um, to be honest, this modern day, the possibility is not there.
Ah,
They definitely want to go out. Like they are expecting you to take them out like once in a while or something. But
yeah,
if
but once in a while that's
okay.
fine. But
yeah,
like
they won't they don't want you to take them to let's say choba some choba this somewhere.
no,
they,
look at
You know what
they
you can do? I
don't.
think that potluck thing, like, it's even better. Each of you can cook. You go and sit in a park and then share. That's fine. If you really want to go out and find somewhere to eat, and because, well, it's about um how do you call it, the fellowship or
Oh, okay,
whatever.
exactly. That was where I was going to. Sammy, if you are going out with someone, what is like outing on an outing with someone? What's the goal? What do you wish to achieve at the end of the 2 3 hours that you are with the person? What
Okay,
I
so
mean, uh-huh.
so to be honest, I want to know. Going out is to know more about the person. So to find certain areas that they are vulnerable, or like so that if you guys can um, weigh out certain things to have the kind of connection between the two. Yeah.
So is it to have discussions? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if it is to have discussions, okay, why is it at a restaurant? Who made that rule?
Social media.
Social media made that. No, maybe and it's feeling weird to me, Prissy. On a serious
Yeah.
note, it's feeling so weird because it looks like I am feeling outdated or all of a sudden. I mean, it look, but think about it. If
Yeah.
I want to talk to someone, okay. In
Yeah.
fact, the best thing to do is to avoid distractions.
Okay.
So if I would go to a restaurant with you and you will be all about the food and be all about your phone, you might have,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah, but I think it's um how do you call it? So
a new
like you said, a
generation
new
with a
generation,
new.
because
Yeah.
back in the days there were no phones, and so I
No,
think
but back in the
when there were
days,
no
this is just
mobile
a few
phones.
years ago.
Yeah, because I remember that the first time I got a phone, I think I was even in SS,
Yeah,
but then I was not even allowed to use it,
right.
right? But then even now, even in marriages, the
Yeah,
phone has become like the center of
right,
everything. You see people there and they are not communicating, and
yeah,
it's not like they are not in love, but
right,
even people who are in love, everyone is like this on their phone. They are not
right.
talking, right? So sometimes you cannot blame the person, because that is a generation that we find ourselves in.
Okay,
The phone, the mobile phone or whatever has taken the center of everything. So the person might be doing it not intentionally,
okay.
or some people when they are not, they are nervous or something, they can't,
Fidget with their
because
phones.
yeah, they try to
Yeah.
fit it with it because they don't
Okay,
know what to say, and people are not also good with conversations now because of phones. You find out that
okay.
there are people who would text you and all that, like they sound interesting when they are texting, but when you meet them
Yeah.
one on one,
Yeah.
they cannot even talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also because of the sort of generation we find ourselves in. So it might not
Oh,
necessarily be that the person doesn't like you or something,
okay.
but that is where they find themselves.
That's an interesting point. Okay, so
Yeah.
Sami, back to you. So what? How are you going to handle it going forward, or how do you handle it? So what's the filter? How do you, or you keep trying every time, taking people to restaurants till one day you say afa, then you continue. How do you?
Okay, so um, hmm, it's not all the time that you need to take that person to a restaurant.
No, no.
Sometimes
Let,
you
let me
can.
cut you. Sorry. Let me
Okay,
cut you. So for the
okay,
first time,
okay.
you take all of them to restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So first time, everyone gets to go to the restaurant.
I think that why don't you find a common
Oh
first,
God.
like before you decide to go out, you can find a common ground, like somewhere that's you you both find interesting apart from
Which
food,
is not
not
necessarily a restaurant,
a
right? Yeah.
restaurant, and then
Okay,
maybe you can
okay.
agree. Maybe you like going to the zoo. You can decide to go out to the zoo together to look at animals. I know maybe for Van, right now I know Van likes climbing mountains. So maybe if I were like I were to go back to organize a date with Van, we would
Yeah,
probably go hiking on the mountain or something,
okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So as you are talking, you get to know the person's likes and dislikes, and then maybe you plan
Yeah,
something around it. Aside the food, yeah, maybe after you take your walk and you are tired and all that, and you find a restaurant around, you can go and settle there to like have a piece of meal or something, ice cream or something. Yeah, but it shouldn't be like the main
Exactly. It shouldn't be the main attraction, right?
mm,
attraction. Yeah.
okay.
Like, Prissy, come to think of it, I'm now remembering that even before we got married, there were sometimes we just, again, to put it into context, I really like nature, anything nature, right? So
Yeah.
would drive all the way to um Akosombo, right? Sit in front of the Volta Lake. It's
But then we ate because
yes, but
we
the
ate
food
tilapia.
again, good. But the food was not the because if it's tilapia and banku, we could have gotten that in Accra.
Yeah.
The food is not the main focus. It's just an aftermath of everything, right? So
Mm,
like Prissy was mentioning, you can get something you guys are all interested in. Afterwards, you can eat. Because if at the end of the day you get distracted by food and all, what's the point? I mean, the person might as well go marry a chop bar operator or
And
something.
I think now there are a lot of um how do you call it? A lot of um out is I think
Outdoor stuff
outdoor
or what?
stuff, yeah,
Okay.
that I've seen that there's kart racing and all that
Yeah.
mm,
um in Ghana now, and so I think there are so many exciting places you can take your dates to. That's if you have time. Maybe it's the evening dates they do, that's why they have to go to the restaurant, but if it's a
yeah.
weekend dates, there are so many fun places you can take your dates to. Only that people are also concerned about safety. So I think that is where if
Safety.
maybe they've met someone for the first time and they
Okay.
are now trying to get to know them.
Why? But the person cannot poison the food we are going to eat.
Yeah. If it's a restaurant, they've ordered food.
If
So
it's a
it
restaurant,
is
they
there.
ordered the food can come and the person will just sneak something in.
Yeah, but then most of the time it would be at the it's the restaurant that will be in trouble if
Okay,
something of that
I
sort
get it.
happens. So yeah, the likelihood is less. But then if maybe I cook for you, I
Mhm.
can add something to it. So that's
Quick question, Sammy. How
Yeah.
long do you usually try to engage someone in back and forth chat before you set up your first date?
Um, uh, it depends on the individual.
Okay,
Some have to drag you for months, like just phone vibing here and there
okay.
before you can get the chance to go out with the person. Yeah. So it depends on the
Um,
individual.
yeah, but based on your experience, are you usually the one who requests for the date or is the lady?
Me.
It's you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it means that you sort of have that under control, whether
Yeah.
you're gonna ask like in the first week or in the first year or whatever
Yeah.
it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, do you really think that? how fast someone wants to go on a date speaks to the kind of person you are engaging. Like, for example, if someone agrees to go on a date so easily, it
Mhm.
means that's the person's playing field. And the person is not necessarily interested in whatever is to come relationship or anything, but
Yeah.
sees it as an opportunity to just, oh, another one has come, let's go. What do you, how does that work? What do you think?
Okay, so it, for me, before
Mm-hmm,
I'll ask you out on a date,
mm-hmm.
I I look at certain things.
Okay.
I have to talk to you to some extent
Okay.
before I'll open up to tell you that, oh, I want to go out on a date with you or something. Yeah, but I just
Okay.
don't wake up first week, second week. We should go out. No, I don't do
You
that.
don't believe in love at first sight?
But I'm pretty for now, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. So I mean I know, okay, Sammy just dropped, but it feels to me that maybe during our era, it feels so weird even feeling that we've gone past a certain era, right? But during our era, maybe people were also doing other stuff that the older generation would have looked at and said, what's wrong with these people, right? And then we took it cool and then went through all of them. So sometimes um, it takes a bit of understanding and coming to terms with what the current trends are.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, but okay, so I guess I need a lot of schooling or education from this current generation to really understand what it's a weird feeling. Pretty, all jokes aside, because as I'm saying, this current generation, it feels like, oh, it feels so like you are so old or something. No, but that's not the case, right?
Reality,
It looks like
getting old.
no, no. Okay, so it just feels a bit weird, right? But again, I think we will continue with this trend of getting educated by what the current trends are and then figure out how to wrap our minds, our heads around what is really happening, right? Because again, if you've spoken to, like Sami was saying, you've spoken to someone for a while and afterwards you go somewhere to eat with the person and the person is only interested in the phone or interested in, but you made a good point that it could be because the person is nervous or because of how people have become so used to screens. I mean, they are,
Yeah, I know some people can test really well.
yeah,
But
but
they will
face to
not.
face interactions, yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, maybe we get more people to come tell us what it is. It feels weird to feel old or to feel out of place.
And with this generation too, I
Yeah.
think it's like more like, why? What can I get out of the relationship, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
No, but when people say that, Prissy, I think it's not fair, right?
yeah.
Because I really feel there are people out there who are very good people looking out for the good of a relationship and all.
Now
So when we
I think that,
bundle all of them,
back in the days, like even
back in
when a man is going into the relationship, it's like, what I can offer this and this to the woman.
okay,
Now it's like even men are looking for what they can get out. What do you bring to the table? That's what the man will ask. Like even the woman. So things are really changing, really like drastically, because everybody wants someone they feel that is worth bringing something to the table,
yes,
right? So they
because
they all want, like, yeah, so I am going out to see what can I get out of this relationship. It's not about, oh, what can I give, or now
okay,
it's about, oh, what can I get. Everybody
but
is in
it's been
for their own, like, their personal needs.
sorry to interrupt, but I feel this has been there since 1666. Like,
No, but like this generation is becoming, for me, I feel like they're becoming more selfish because it's like more like you most of the times when you see people being interviewed,
yeah,
it's more like like in my needs, like what I can get and what,
good.
and they talk less about what I want to do for
Prissy, I feel this has been there all along. Things look exposed now because of social media,
you have a
right?
point.
I feel, see, it always feels as if, oh, the current generation is so bad and they have misplaced priorities. But the truth is that all these bad people, oh, we had them long ago, but there was no avenue for them to expose their selfishness. Exactly. But now we, because of social media, we get people to say what they feel, and we now feel, oh, so is that what is going up? I mean, up there in your head? It's okay. So we behind time now, but Sammy, this is what we're going to do. I think that we need to speak to a lot more of the current generation, okay, to
Okay.
really understand the realities on the ground. Because maybe we might be saying something and we are talking about old people's things. We feel
Yeah.
old now, yeah,
Yeah.
and things that don't work now, right? So
Okay.
thanks for sharing this. I'm still feeling a bit weird uh, to think that like the world has changed. Anyway, so we would engage on that and figure out how we can understand people the more, how to
Okay.
see what's really pertaining in the current world, in the current generation, and all.
Okay.
So thanks so much for your time. I know we, because of the in and out, we didn't have a good time to really
Yeah.
engage properly, but of course, we would always come back to this. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, viewers, for always staying with us. I don't know if you guys are also feeling as old as Sami has made me feel today, but um, always remember that no two relationships are the same. And on that old age note, we wrap up today's episode of Dear Van. So we hope to come your way again next week. See you soon. Cheers and bye for now.
Right.